What do you think?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's practically in, Hanover.
Yeah. You're not going to do that.
He's halfway to Mount St. Mary's.
Absolutely. Truck's going to take off in a second. I can tell.
Well, good idea, Kurt, having this outside.
Hey, if you'd clean your attic.
I can't. Oh. So we were supposed to have a
I
contract.
got interrogated on why I'm not in the attic, by the way.
So long story short, we were supposed to have a contractor come and remodel our house attic. And so we moved everything from the house attic into the garage. And so the garage is full of all the stuff in the house attic. And then the contractor said he just met with his orthopedic surgeon who told him he can't do stairs anymore, so he can't do our project. So we moved all the shit from our attic into the garage, and now we need to find a new contractor.
We need to find new attics. What you need to find.
I need to find a new attic. Yeah.
Because, or hey, look at this guy.
I could have you come and do it, because there is some drywall, so you can do that.
I can do drywall.
Is this episode called The Ivory Deck?
It's the Ivory Deck.
The Ivory
Okay.
Deck.
Right.
You're not the first deck.
Okay, good.
Based.
I don't want
Which
to...
sounds really elitist.
Yeah, that's right.
It does.
All right, we ready?
I'm ready.
That was the cold open, by the way. Is it just you explaining your deck project?
Attic project. not
Attic
deck
project.
Welcome to the Ivory Attic. I'm Ian Escherwood.
And I'm Kurt Andreessen.
And we are here on your deck, Kurt.
Whoa, it's a nice day, huh?
It's a nice day, about 59 degrees.
Yeah, it's
Sun
beautiful.
is
It's
blazing.
beautiful. Yeah, blazing is good. Birds are singing.
Birds are singing.
And you know why they are?
Why?
Because you know what this is?
No.
This is the beginning of our fourth season.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that. This is the season 4 opener.
Season 4 opener right here.
This is amazing, and I didn't think we would last half a season.
I was surprised we last 3 episodes.
Yeah, and we're slaying it on YouTube. Is that the right word?
Yeah, YouTube, yes.
Yes. But I'm proud of our recent success on YouTube.
Yeah. If you haven't seen it yet, check us out. We'll
Yeah, well, it turns out people don't like to actually listen to us for long periods of time. They just like the shorts.
Yeah, and they like to look at us. I mean, come on.
Well, clearly that's it. So to start our 4th season, we're doing something completely new.
What's that?
We're bringing in somebody who spent most of their career in the private sector.
Oh, man.
Right. Isn't that amazing?
And what'd they do after that?
Well, they now are the VP of Enrollment and Educational Services at Gettysburg College. We are so happy to have Robert Schwartz on our show. Robert spent most of his career working for corporations, big corporations in New York, in marketing and in public relations. And now, after a stint on the Board of Trustees at Gettysburg College, is now our VP of Enrollment and Educational Services, or, as he put on his CV, the Chief Growth Officer at Gettysburg College. Welcome to the show.
I'm so happy to be here. Thanks
welcome.
to both of you.
So you got tired of the low money and corporate, and you're like, let's come to academia where the big bucks are.
I was upset. I was upset by the size of my tax bill. I decided I don't like being compensated in 3 different ways, and I'll just choose one way at a much lower level.
Let's say one way, which is much less.
Yeah, that's it. That's right.
But it's much simpler.
Yes, it is much simpler. The magic beans are amazing, though. I really do appreciate that part of it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the perks are great.
Absolutely.
And especially in the field that you're in right now.
Yeah. Right. It's nothing
it's
but
low
smooth
stress.
sailing.
Low stress. Market's easy. Water's fine. Come on in, Ian.
Well, that's good. Well, thanks so much for coming.
I'm thrilled to be here.
So,
yeah, you're the first VP we've had on.
You are.
Oh,
You're
all right.
you're
Well,
the highest
that's
level.
That's a real honor.
Yeah, the highest level that we got on here.
That's a real honor.
Save for Dean Chat, of course.
Well, Dean Chat. Yeah, Dean Chat's now not a dean. It's
that's
Dean
right.
Chat's
that's
a VP.
Right.
We
That's
elevated.
Right. That's right. We
Dean
elevated
Chat.
Dean Chat to VP
We
status.
elevated Dean. This program was responsible.
Yeah.
It is.
Well,
it is 100%.
Well, I mean, Dean Chat, like we had to get someone else into that deanship, and so we had to move them. We weren't going to move Dean Chat back to the faculty, so we just elevated.
Well, and there was a whole
Dean to VP.
restructuring of the office that went on with
exactly.
that, with a few more administrative lines. So
Yeah, exactly.
It was a whole thing.
Yeah, but it's going very great.
Anyway, tell us about Rob Schwartz.
Oh, good grief. I'll do the quick version. I'm a 92 graduate, so I'm an alum of the college.
Go Bullets.
Yeah, and a lot of my family has gone here, right? So there's 12 of us on both sides of my family that are Gettysburgians.
Oh, wow.
And I've always, I literally grew up coming to this campus with my dad, my grandfather, my grandmother. So it's been a part of me for a really long time. And when I left, I didn't really ever think about the fact that I would ever come back. It was always a place that meant a lot to me, but I have to be honest with you. It's not like I said to myself as my, feet crossed the plane, well, I'll be back 35 years later. But I, set off to go sort of find my way and found myself in Manhattan. And as you mentioned, had a long career in marketing and advertising, and then joined the board, about 5 years ago almost. And I loved that service, and it really connected me back to the place in a way that I completely didn't anticipate. So my standard line here is that, this is a place that can change your life, not once, not twice, but 3 or 4 times. And it's happened to me. And so, Bob called me one afternoon after taking a run. He knew that I had grown disaffected from some of the work that I had done, which we don't have to get into, or we can. It's up to you guys. And he said, hey, would you ever do this crazy thing? And I wound up not saying no, which is almost like saying yes. And ultimately, I sat down with my wife and decided to do it. And, as you guys have heard 1,000 times, and everybody in my office has heard 1,000 times, I was fortunate enough to be at a place where I could, for the first time in my life, take a job for love. And so I did.
Oh, that's amazing. Has it... I mean, obviously, you're coming into this job in, as Ian alluded to, a challenging time in academia, especially in enrollment. Has it... I mean, you didn't come in this obviously blind or not, not knowing what this was.
Yeah, I did. I chaired the committee that this function reports to, so I had a decent idea.
Yeah. I mean, so have you has it been largely what you expected, or has it taken you by surprise, even having that?
Oh, it's one of those things where I think I really had a pretty good idea. A lot of it. I mean, first things first, I could not have done this job without being on the board.
Yeah.
Just parachuting in from the IBM company and landing on a college campus and then being like, oh, I'll figure this out. Even though my entire career has been about, communications and marketing, demand generation, creating new markets, which so much of this job is. Even with all that, this is a left turn at Albuquerque, to quote Bugs Bunny. And so having that time on the board to have really gotten an in-depth view in terms of this specific function has been invaluable. Now, having said all that, are there surprises aplenty each and every week? This is month 8 or whatever it is. Yeah. And they range from the completely obvious that maybe you just sort of oh, right. There are 19-year-olds that are in the athletic department, and they sometimes do things we don't want them to do. I have to be honest with you, I didn't think a lot about that before taking this job. I think a lot about it now. And then, there's the more sublime things, and I think a lot of those things are the relationship of how the college functions, how the market functions to governmental decisions, the sort, even the tone and manner of the administration. Again, it's not a political comment; it's just a functional reality. Yeah. The impact to the international market for us in the last 12 months, for everybody, not just for us, has been enormous. And it's not simply visa-related issues; it's just the brand USA is completely different, and so. Yeah. That definitely was not something on my incoming bingo card. That was not high on my list of things to consider. So it's been every day is a learning experience. It's one of the reasons why I love the job. It's as hard a job as I've ever had, but it's easily the job I've loved the most. It sounds so ridiculously cliche. I'm sure your audience is like, ugh, don't put this on YouTube. But it's true. Yeah. But the dynamism of the role is what I love about it. But you can't plan for a lot of that in advance.
Sure. Sure.
Well, and it's really interesting because you went to a liberal arts college, so you went to Gettysburg, and I went to Gettysburg too, and you were an English major, right?
Yes.
And
Proud.
And did some theater, and so you have a liberal arts
I did a lot of
background.
theater. Yep.
And so, one of the things I find very interesting about your career pivot is that you're talking to two people who went into a career for love, right?
Yeah.
And not necessarily so that we could. I'm not sure about you, Kurt. I can't speak for you, but I didn't go into this to get rich, right?
I was fooled into. Someone told me that was what was going to happen. It really is.
It's like a whole wheelbarrow of Bitcoin,
right? But even our friends who are in administration, like they're oftentimes very career higher education, right?
Yeah.
And so your outside perspective and kind of being able to choose coming here, I think is really interesting. But it's also got to be very eye-opening. I mean, it's great to have the transition with the board because you were able to see kind of how a college culture works. But I'm sure on a day-to-day basis, there are little things that you're wondering, why does it work like this?
Yeah, I mean, there are every day I have moments where, I'll call my wife and I'll be like, well, this is not IBM. and most of the time I mean it as a compliment, right? Because, there are a lot of things about the IBM company that in two different stints that made me insane. But there are things that I guess the biggest thing for me, and this is going to sound like a criticism, I don't really mean it that way. It's one of the reasons why it's so attractive in a way too. We don't necessarily, as an institution, wake up every morning and think about the marketplace.
Yeah, yeah.
And I have spent
some of our colleagues never think about that in their entire lives.
We're not naming names. But that's also the magic of it, right? Like, because the market leads you in places where you can also fail. Yeah. And so the constancy of what we do here is necessarily hard to change, right? If you could just change the product design of the college every other day, we look like, Microsoft packaging in the 90s, right? Like we'd have Starbursts and today the 2.0 Whitman class, that would not work either. But there are times when attachment to the marketplace reality is more critical than others.
Yeah, yeah.
And you can see that in our history, right? 194 years of us, yesterday or the day before, whenever it was.
Yep.
And there are times in that history where our ability to come back and approach the market was critical, right? And this is 1,000,000,000,000% one of those times. Right. And so, most of my bemusement is on those days where I'm like, gang. With love, we gotta rethink this.
We still do need students.
We still, I mean, it's if the tree falls in the woods and no one is in the classroom, it doesn't really happen. So, but I will say this, I mean this truly. Heretofore, this will not continue forever, but heretofore, I have not had anyone really say, hey, your craziness we can't deal with. We don't understand any of it. There is an openness, and I think a willingness and a broad recognition, not everywhere, but a broad recognition that this is one of those moments where our attachment to the marketplace matters.
Yeah, yeah. So I think, people who probably aren't in academia probably have actually no idea what your job looks like. So and I know a day-to-day is probably a really loaded thing because I'm sure your day, but what is your day-to-day? What do you do?
Well, let's take yesterday. So yesterday, I spent a chunk of time early, working with a model that I've been building and refining around what our actual anticipated range of results could look like this year from an enrollment angle. And that's something that I've done, essentially in some way, shape, or form every day since I started in September. And so that's generally speaking how the day starts. And a lot of times that starts before I'm actually out of bed. Now, This is going to reveal this. The people who listen, the 88 people who listen to this, or whatever the count is. If
we got up to 89. Actually.
Yeah, okay. Some sub-segment of those are actually going to know me. So let's call it, maybe my daughter, my son's never doing this. My wife will listen to half, and Jamie will listen to the whole thing. Right. So it's basically my daughter and Jamie. For those of you who don't know, Jamie's our CMO. They will chuckle because they kind of know this about me. I'm a bit of a weirdo, and so the first thing I do is I tear open the reports that come in at 2 a.m. And so whether it's 5:30 or 6 a.m., I'm literally tossing those into the model, and kind of we're doing, Claude and I are doing this battle to the death on no, you're wrong, because as it turns out, AI is wrong all the time, and it's my continuity of memory that hey, we're relying on this 55-year-old memory. That seems bad, and so that's kind of how the day starts, and then that gives me an idea of kind of what we're looking like. And then the other piece of that is actionable things to go tackle. Most of the time that is audience specific.
Yeah.
So it's what have we seen that we can go do, that we can take action in the marketplace to change an outcome? And that could be human follow-up. It could be digital follow-up. It could be whatever. And so that gives me kind of a big 50,000-foot view. It gives me a specificity of KPI, and then it gives me tactical actions.
Yeah.
And then the day kind of unfolds from there, right? So generally speaking, there's a bunch of interaction with the athletic department because they are a critical part of our enrollment work. Not as much this time of season, right? They're usually done, although we made a change in the football organization, and they are not done because we made that late because of the way football works. So we were still active, and as the saying goes, have the door open on football. And then I was at a Yield event a couple weeks ago and met a bunch of parents. And much to my staff's chagrin, I am very open with parents. I'm just call the front number of the college, they'll find me. And they do. And they're generally speaking amazing, and we have great conversations. So yesterday I had a conversation with a parent of a prospect about a particular set of issues. And so, there's that tactical thing, there's sort of the strategic thing. But by and large, this time of year, we are absolutely door to door on how we're finalizing the class. And it is, you guys heard me say this at the faculty meeting when I joined, and this sounds like chicken soup for the soul, and I hate that shit. But every little thing matters.
Yeah.
Right? At the end of the day, we're looking for 550-ish students. That means every little call, returned call, opportunity to communicate a bit more, to sort of say, hey, how do you feel about this? To say, oh, you are interested in two sports. Let me, see if that we can make those two sports work. Or, hey, as it turns out, you can't run track and do, women's lacrosse in the same season. That's not going to. Yeah. Those kinds of things. It's literally every little bit of those things add up to the end output. So, it's a lot of that right now, and then the summer will be much more kind of for a half a second, a bit of drop back strategic thinking, and then we're kind of into the next thing.
Yeah, it seems to never stop.
It doesn't, right? So right now, we're preparing for Get Acquainted Day on Saturday, which is our single biggest yield leverage event, and we've had juniors on campus the last 10 days because of spring break.
Yeah.
So at the same time, we're planning for the biggest senior event, the thing that basically is, the biggest lever we have to pull in terms of sheer volume of deposits. We are talking to next year's class at the exact same time. So that is one thing that's a little different. In the commercial world, you would not have structured your customer that way, right? Yeah. You would have, because you have a little more right? It's not so seasonal in a lot of industries, and so you'd find a way to split that out. Here, we got them right on top of each other. Yeah. So my staff is, I just had a meeting before I came up here, and one of the leaders on the counselor side was like, they are kind of, right up to here. I'm like, I don't understand why. They're basically dealing with two classes at the same time. What's the problem? So that part of it is a little tricky.
When this was something that I actually it took me, I would say, at least a few years of being a professor to even realize how any of this worked, so I find, of course, at the beginning, I'm just teaching classes, trying to get tenure, make sure that my research doesn't fall apart.
Right.
But I mean, the whole idea of you all have to, again, not only you obviously have to get an enormous number of people to apply, then decide which of those are actually getting in, then decide, and try to do this calculation of how many will then actually come here.
Yeah.
I guess the crazy math of it was something that I never thought about before I started talking about people I know in admissions.
So it's funny. You're exactly right. The crazy math of it is crazy. One of the things that's been most comfortable about the job, honestly, is the crazy math. Because a lot of my career has been on the direct demand generation side of the marketing funnel.
Oh, okay.
And so the notion that big things at the top of the funnel yield smaller things, and that there is a pathway, not linear, especially these days, and the funnel, frankly, we could get into this in a different podcast. Robert's academic marketing theories, but the funnel is kind of an outdated thing in a million ways, right? It suggests that things go in an orderly fashion in a linear way, and they don't. But that living in the activity of the marketplace to move people along and to stimulate both audiences and stages to react in particular ways, that has definitely been the thing that has been this is my homeroom. I got this. When we talk about the government's relationship with financial aid, that has definitely been a place where I've had a lot more of a learning curve, for sure.
Yeah.
But it is, that's the nature of this business. And so anybody who has, an enrollment job out there is no kidding. But the way that math has changed in the last decade, and really in the last 5 years, it resembles commercial markets much more closely.
Yeah.
In that it's that much more competitive, and the margin for error is that much more narrow, and the actual consumer perception, not what we think about ourselves and not what we believe about ourselves, but the consumer perception of differentiation has gotten dramatically lowered.
Yeah.
And that, so the process can actually make a difference in the result, not just the values, not just the mission, not just the way you structure the college from a set of majors, not just the place that it exists, but the process by which you do the demand generation, stimulation, engagement can make a difference.
Well, it's really interesting because when Kurt was talking about the fact that he got to know kind of a little bit about how the sausage is made within enrollment, I think it's really useful for faculty members to actually almost adopt somebody from enrollment so that they can learn more about the process, because I can't tell you how many times I've heard faculty complain full stop, let alone complain about, have you guys tried bumper stickers? Or have you guys laptop stickers, but just don't understand how complicated it is.
Yeah, I will protect the innocent on this. But
you can throw the guilty under the bus.
Yeah, I'm working on that. I'll probably save it for my former board friends. Early on, I was having a conversation with Jamie, and she had received an inbound thing, and it was a suggestion around a mass advertising approach. I think it was billboards, it was lovingly provided as a suggestion. I can't think of anything I would choose less than billboards. It's pretty high up there on the I wouldn't spend money on it list. It's super expensive. It's a very limited target, and the percentage of people in the market for what we sell is exceedingly low driving past that billboard every day. How about
physical newspaper ads? Have you thought about that?
Yeah.
Have you thought about the back of a phone book?
I actually, payphone kiosks in Manhattan, which always, it always strikes me. There was a huge relaunch, and I mercifully forget the school, which is good because I don't want to name anyone, but it was a city school. I don't know which one. Excuse me. But they had done a huge buyout in Grand Central Station of like the C station or something, right? So it was like the C and the E were lined by, go to, blah, and, it's your future, your life, or, whatever wonderful tag they put. I just remember thinking to myself, the people taking these steps every day, A, not super happy, and B, the vast majority of them are going to work. It just always struck me as a bit of they're selling to parents, I would assume, but I don't know. I'm not quite sure. And the spend on it is gigantic, right? I was talking about the most expensive out-of-home market in the world. So, I don't know. But yes, we do get some wild suggestions. I will say this, am I allowed to do a plug? I don't know when this is going to drop, probably after we actually have this thing. But next week...
We'll try to get it out quick.
Okay. Next week on the 15th, for those of you who are interested, I think I'm doing 2 sessions on enrollment and kind of the State of the Union. So keep your eyes peeled if you're at the college to swing by. We'd love to have you. That's literally your question, Ian, is why we're doing them. Right? Like I've said since I joined, like as soon as I get my feet under me, I desperately want to do hey, this is. And it's an intersection of the market right now and kind of how we are thinking about the market. And so that's really what the session is about.
Yeah, and the more of that happens, I think, the better. I mean, Kurt's not going to go because he's on sabbatical.
Well, I was just going to say I appreciate the plug, but no faculty will listen to this podcast because they have to listen to us normally.
Okay. Fair enough. So basically, this is the equivalent of me on the E subway station. Okay. Right.
Chris Kaufman will listen.
Oh, great. Well, of all the faculty, he's the one I probably know the best. Right. So, Chris, I love you. You know that. Please come.
Well, excellent. So, do you feel like, what are the, I guess I'm still really interested in how the types of things that you have done previously map onto kind of what you do here, because again, every time and this just gets back to some of the stuff that Ian was talking before. Every time I talk to normal people who have real jobs about what I do and what my day to day is like, and what a faculty meeting is like.
So I could not resent you more for saying that. We are in the real world.
But they look at me as if I have landed on the moon. They really.
Well, especially a faculty meeting when you try to explain
which is and I will say also is absurd to me. I was.
Which, and you've often been a contributor to the absurdity.
As often as possible. But I guess do you feel like coming from this outside of academia has given you a different view, what kind of things do you think are you bringing to that kind of helps you kind of see?
Yeah, I think there's a couple things that map, right? I already mentioned sort of that when I'm in the funnel and I'm doing the work around how we're doing sort of the digital CRM, target identification, communications to one-to-one audiences, all of that kind of stuff feels very familiar to me. And I think the perspective I bring to it that might be slightly different, although I think there's been a lot of sophistication in enrollment over the last, probably decade or so, is a sense of what's state of the art in the corporate world at the moment.
Yeah.
Now, some of that is frankly unapproachable in one way, shape, or form. Some of it could be the way in which we leverage data. Some of it could be just the sheer cost of some of that, the way we do that work in the corporate world. But that familiarity is super helpful in that chunk of my job. My agency life, there's kind of 2 things that connect to another portion of the role. So the first would be being in client service, on and off for the last 30 some odd years when I was on the marketing services side. Being in a yield meeting with a bunch of parents and students, that is customer service. Right. That is client management. That's, that I've done that my whole career. Right? It's the first job I ever had. And so the familiarity of that engaging of people to discuss what it is that they kind of care about and how that connects to sort of what our offering set is and how we might be able to connect the two things, but doing it with care, not doing it with salesmanship, doing it with care. And I think that care and authenticity is something that you have to have, right? If you're, I use this example. I used to do a lot of teaching on the agency side, training on the agency side. Sorry, you guys teach. I was training. On the agency side of new folks on the account management side. And inevitably, I would get down to kind of the very last bit of the day. You go through this whole 6-hour thing, and I'd look at them and I'd say, I always say this at this time because you are weary and you do not want to hear me talk anymore, which, can you imagine being married to me? But you are going to have the following scenario happen to you, which is you're going to have an all-day meeting with a client. And you will have had to have been on and dynamic and thoughtful and engaged and authentic and interesting and all the things that this requires. Attentive, listen. And then that person is going to get on the elevator and you're going to have to go with them because you don't just let them get on the elevator and go down. You have to ride down with them. And then you have to talk and engage with them on the elevator. And then you have to go out to the front of the building under the awning. And it's raining. And this is before Uber. And you have to wait for the cab to come, or you have to hail it yourself or whatever. And then in that moment when you have nothing left to say, no story to tell, you've covered your 6th grade, classroom, you covered the day you dropped the tray in the cafeteria in high school, you've done all of it. You have to come up with the dynamism to go one more step. And that sort of sense of the dynamic, that sort of sense of that commitment to that engagement is incredibly vital in talking to families and to students. So that kind of matches to that part of the day or that part of the job. And then the last thing I'll say quickly is dealing, in the agency business, you're dealing with creatives and creative product all the time. And, the interface with that work is not linear. It is not, oh, hey, here's the brief. I'll be back in 12 minutes, spit something out to me. And while AI is changing a lot of that, the brilliance of the big idea isn't coming from the machine.
Right.
And so the way in which you support and advance and deploy your own creativity to come up with the magic that is the big idea, that's a part of this job too. So, how we think about things in new ways like sports expansion and the way we wanted to connect that to the heritage of women's sports at the college, that wasn't an accident, right? That was sort of thinking through the creative implications of how we could talk about that in a different way. So there's a bunch of different things from my past I sort of connect to different parts of the role.
Yeah. Well, and also understanding the place too, which and I think that's a key component. And one of the things that I was really excited about your hire for was that you have a long tradition with the institution, and you don't see that with a lot of upper level administration, right? Yep. And I think in your office in particular, where you have a lot of other alumni that are working are super dedicated and are super passionate.
A lot of tenure too.
Yeah, and I just want to put a plug in for them. Like, they're fantastic.
You're doing my job for me. Thank you. Yeah. Trust me, they'll take it better from you.
Well, but it's one of these things that, the understanding of culture, but also that extra mile at a place like this often comes from the personal touch that comes from caring. Yep. And it comes from caring about what you do, about the mission, everything that's involved with that.
And we hear that all the time, right? So I came in with a bias toward that from my connection to the place. But I didn't necessarily know that from a prospect or parent engagement perspective. I knew that from my own experience. I knew that from the way that my interactions have been with the college over the years. And so one of the things that I think we say a lot around campus as a community, and we mean it when we say it, but it's also easy to discount because it sounds like apple pie and Chevrolet, and those things, we live in a cynical time, and so when we hear apple pie and Chevrolet, the first thing we think is, that's going to translate well to YouTube, by the way, is we hear that extra mile. We hear that bespoke engagement. We hear that driving to the root cause of the question and calling back and all those things all the time. And it's easy, I think, to think that everybody's doing it, but the way we hear it is almost always with not everybody does that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it is it wants the special sauce of the place and the burden. And the reason why it's a burden is because it's almost impossible to communicate in a way that the modern world believes it unless you feel it.
Yeah. And that's one of the things. And I think in one of the endless meetings with consultants over the last few years was the notion that, like, that's very difficult to market.
Yeah, it's hard.
Right? And market in a way that's not saccharine and sentimental. And but it's also something that we hear all the time. I mean, Kurt and I at graduation, we can't tell you how many times parents come up to us and thank us for doing our jobs. We get paid to do it, but they often say things like, "Thank you for taking care of my son," or "Thank you for taking care of my daughter." And it's
because it's what you're doing,
right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think so. Kind of going actually even further back. Like, I think one of the things that's also interesting about you is that, I mean, obviously, again, to some extent, you are the model of what we are selling, right? Which is that the whole idea is that we're, one of the things I think we market to people a lot is that, like, that we tell people is that, liberal arts colleges can get you lots of different jobs. And, like, you can be an English major.
You can be an English major and be very successful.
Have a very successful career. And I mean, and this, I mean, it is sometimes a hard sell. Like, I think, like, I know when I've spoken to people about this, like, they sometimes, don't necessarily believe it. You're like, no, this is work. Yeah.
Yeah, Kurt, it's funny. There's the intersection of two things. I'm going to try to do this super quickly, although, as you've already noted, audience, that doesn't happen all the time. This is not an original idea, right? If you've read The Atlantic or, Dave Brooks in the Times a couple month ago, whatever it was, there's sort of now this, let's turn the turn on the narrative again, that, actually this is a moment for liberal arts, this AI moment, which is something that I think we've been pretty conscious about here at the college and at the board level, certainly for a long time, is that, actually in a world where the machine is doing the doing, it's the frame of thought around the doing and the what do you do next that is the question. And again, this is the battle that Claude and I have every morning, right? Like, I'm like, this is spectacular that you can do this and yet uniquely ineffective, right? Like, you need more to be useful to me.
Wait until you see the quiz.
Yeah. I can't wait. I will say, when you said quiz, when we were off mic, I was like, oh God, the odds of me getting any of this right.
Maybe we should have Claude answer actually,
honestly,
chat,
right.
and then see which one of their answers.
Give me a week and a half to teach Claude to be me, and then so. I do believe some of what is now a more popular narrative, that now more than ever, right? Now more than ever, there is something to this idea that the framework of critical thinking and the flexibility of the mind to appreciate beauty and art and love and loss and the things that make the human experience, and then take that into the work you do, whether it's engineering or whether it's, working for T Rowe, as we have a bunch of folks that do, work on the financial services side. I do deeply believe in that. And so I think there's something about the moment that we need to crystallize a little better as a category, and then specifically at the college. The only other thing I'd kind of add to that is, to the extent that my story, and I hate to say this because I'm not talking, I don't want this to be about, the word success is, it doesn't mean anything to me, right? Yeah. But that you can live a life that has meaning, that is consequential, that has impact in whatever narrow and parochial industry you chose. And trust me, I chose about as narrow and parochial an industry as you can find. And then leave that, and then take the skills that made you useful to that industry, and take them somewhere else, and maybe with a little bit of luck, it's a place that has a bit more of your heart in it. Yeah. That, to the extent that connects with students today, or sounds like something, okay, that makes me at least believe that something like that's possible, then I'm happy to do that any day of the week.
Well, it's interesting because academics hate the word success too, because we all have imposter syndrome and are self-loathing.
I just don't know what it means, right? Yeah. I have friends, as you all do, right? Yeah. Deeply, deeply financially successful humans who are on the inside not happy. Yeah, and absolutely. Then I have people who are by modern measures, much less financially successful, who are definitely happier. And you know that again, it sounds like a cliche, but that is factually true. And you can't get to middle age and not have those stories. And so it really does, whereas my definition of success at 25 or 30 or 35, hell, was wildly different. Yeah. It was, it was house and family and this point in my career and this point of ownership and this size of book of business and winning at this rate on a pitch perspective and all those things. I don't have any of that now, but I think some of that's just good old fashioned. You get a heavy dose. Are we allowed to swear on this thing?
Yeah. Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, okay, all right. Yeah. You're 55, you get a heavy dose of fuck it. And, you care a lot less about that stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm not 55, I'm 47, but I had...
Trust me, you have so much to look forward to. Amazing. If your feet and back hurt when you get out of bed now, let me tell you what it's like in a few years. It's incredible.
So the reason I brought that up is the fact that I had a realization about a month ago that in all likelihood, I've lived over half of my life. So everything from here is less than it was previously.
Yeah.
And definitely past the best parts.
Well, definitely past, 100% past the best parts. So, once I realized that I've always realized that there's a finite amount of time that we have, I was like, I don't know if I care about a lot of this stuff. It was just this realization that I'm going to invest in the things that I actually do care about.
And that liberation is no small part of why I'm sitting here.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I actually, I don't remember if I've told the story on this podcast before, but I've had kind of both sides of it. The conversation with both on both sides, where I have these students. So every once in a while, these are actually exceedingly rare, but every once in a while, I have a student who is just the only thing they're interested in is getting the job on the back end, and they kind of don't care what's happening on the way. And I always tell people, those are often the ones I am most concerned about because they can do quite well and they can do well. But then I always worry, what does happen when you are 45, 47, you have this job, you were financially successful, and now you're like, now what exactly was I doing again? And it's late to have that realization. It's a tough time to have that realization.
It is. I use
and then there's a lot of bad middle-aged novels that are written about that.
Well, there's a lot of...
I'm writing a novel right now. Was that a shot?
There are a lot of cars that are purchased and other things happen. The way I think about this, and you've been around, I think, when I've said this, but, we do two exceptional things here. The first is career. We actually do help our students get ready to find and connect to that career in the classroom, from a co-curricular perspective, from an experiential learning perspective, from an internship, whatever it is. We do a really, really good job of that. And I think one of the things that we've been exceptional at for a super long time, not just since somebody woke up in the morning and decided outcomes is what we cared about, 20 years ago in higher education, but that before then too, is that sense of career and what the practical way to get to that was from the classroom to the experience. But the second thing, which, again, as an English major, is even more important to me, is that we help people find their calling.
Yeah.
And that sense of calling, that is the thing that makes you the most you can be, right? It absolutely ignites you from bed to go do that thing, right? It, for me, was 108 years ago in Klein Theater, with my friend Chris, doing theater and listening to that crowd and being so present in that moment of the intersection of performance and the audience. That calling thing, we do really well too. We allow you to sort of find that in all the little nooks and crannies of the 12 billion things you can do here. And so, that vector for me, career and calling, sits at the heart of what I think we're best at. And I talk about that a lot to prospects all the time. And I think, even in this day and age, even in the TikTok moment, I think that resonates a little bit with 17-year-olds.
Yeah, it is funny. I mean, it's funny you mentioned the career part first, because I will say I also had this has happened less frequently, but I did at least one time have a student say, yeah, like, I actually don't care about a job at all. Like, I'm just going to be a poor, starving artist. And I said, I'm going to actually have to stop you at this exact moment and explain to you that there is nothing fun about being poor.
There's nothing romantic about it.
It is soul crushing. It can be terrible.
In 1971, Greenwich Village doesn't exist anymore.
Exactly. So I was like, let's find a happy medium here.
The rent is $11,000 a month. So the idea that you were going to go, I'll wait a table and then I'll go down to the bitter end and I'll have a pint or two and then I'll pay $200. That ain't happening, my friend.
All right. Well, so we're almost done with this portion, but we have one last question to ask you.
So, what brings you joy?
Oh, good Lord!
And if you haven't listened before, sorry, I don't want to assume.
Yeah, I'm a little.
We're already assuming family.
Yeah. Okay, so those are all out.
Family and pets and all. Okay,
Okay.
You're
so
not getting
all
off
the
easy,
obvious shit.
Yeah.
So you don't get in trouble.
I was going to say, so no one's offended when you don't say that.
This is the Oscar speech tonight.
No, exactly.
Oh crap! I forgot my wife. What brings me joy? So. I'm in, what's today's date? The 8th? So in 12 days, my daughter's going to drive up to the great state of New Jersey from school, and she and I are going to go to the Prudential Center, and we are going to watch a 74-year-old man and his band perform 3 hours of the closest thing I can think of to a religious experience, and so that brings me joy. Going to see Bruce, and being in that crowd in that moment with my daughter, connecting across generations. Those are the there's a reason I've been to 40 Bruce shows. And it's because I don't find many other places where I can replicate that.
Yeah, it's like a religious revival.
Yeah, it's the same way I feel when I go with my son to Manchester United, right? I've been to Old Trafford 12 times in my life, and when I'm in the Stretford End and I am with him and we are singing our songs and we are in it, and the boys, aren't sucking on the field, which they've done a fair amount of over the last 12 years. That's as good as I don't know a lot of joy beyond that. Like that I would pick those two things.
That sounds about as good as it gets.
It is actually, and that's one of the best answers.
I was gonna say, we normally don't try to rate answers, but those are really good answers.
Yeah, well, in part because people don't actually. Sometimes they haven't answered with what I think brings them joy.
No, exactly. But it's weird to correct people on it.
Yeah,
what I want you to think brings me joy.
Yeah, or what it's expected.
Exactly.
I mean, look, an old fashioned. Like you can get to smaller things on this list. A BBC period piece.
Perfect. I love it.
And my wife is like, you have the viewing habits of an 80-year-old British woman, which is true. I will watch
or both of.
I was going to say, or Ian and I's entire households. Yeah. So let's take a quick break, and then when we come back, we'll do. What are we going to do, Ian?
Did you know?
Oh yeah, we're going to our quiz.
Our quiz.
Let's get there in a second.
All right, I'm getting on the internet.
Welcome back to the Ivory Attic. We have Robert Schwartz with us.
Wonderful.
From Gettysburg College. And
who are you?
I'm Ian Escherwood.
Oh, I'm Kurt Andrews.
I don't know if we have to introduce ourselves.
What if someone comes in the middle?
Well, they're going to know who we are. I mean, there's 8 people that listen to this. 80. 80 people that listen to this.
And 6 of them live in your homes.
No.
You think they want to hear us?
They hear us all the time. Okay, so we're here for our quiz section, which is Did You Know? And we brought in Dean Chat again to design. Vice President Chat.
Thank you.
Who's a vice president or vice provost? What did we decide? Vice president, right?
I think.
Vice provost.
I think they're VP level. Yeah.
Okay, so they're VP level, but they're in the academic division, not your division.
Got it. Okay.
So
Dean Chat, I asked Dean Chat a number of questions about creating a funny quiz for a chief enrollment officer at a liberal arts college, and they were a bit too mean. So
and a bit too mean because it's such a painful moment to have this kind of job, or
it's a bit of both.
Yeah, okay.
It's a bit of both,
or just not smart enough to do something else.
Well, I recognize some phrases that I've heard uttered, and I was like,
no, you can look. If we're doing buzz, I mean, look, I've worked at the IBM company twice, so my ability to buzzword is pretty significant.
I think the problem is this is a rivalry between the divisions. I think
it's definitely
what this is.
Okay, got it.
Yeah,
because they're struggling for resources.
Okay, got it. So we're an argument over resources.
Yeah. So like a good liberal arts casualty, I refined my questions.
Yes.
And so I eventually went for a question about a former marketing public relations VP from the private sector who's now a VP of enrollment at a small liberal arts college.
This sounds like a 90s sitcom.
It does. Well, it's kind of your life right now.
If you think I don't wake up every morning, like there should be like a jingle in the background, and I'm like putting my shoes on.
I mean, I'd watch it just for the record.
We could get a couple million people to tune in 1994.
So this quiz is called From Brand to Yield, a VP transition quiz. Instructions: choose the best answer. If you're torn, go with the one that would least alarm the faculty.
That's the part where I'll have trouble. Okay.
In your previous role, success meant A, market share growth, B, revenue growth, C, brand dominance, or D, clear KPIs tied to outcomes.
In my direct last job, it was... It's between brand growth and revenue growth. I'd probably go with brand growth in my direct last job.
Okay. Yeah. You definitely got that one right. Because it's your life.
I was gonna say, how does this is a weird quiz where the person asking doesn't know the answer. Okay.
I'm assuming Dean Chat knows the answer.
Okay, yeah, apparently.
Okay, so
1 point apparently.
You propose a brand new campaign. The campus response is A, excitement, B, curiosity, C, a 90-minute meeting, or D, a 90-minute meeting that produces a committee.
Or E, Jamie does the campaigns.
Okay, we'll go with that.
All right, I'm sticking to that one.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
But the real answer is D, a 90-minute meeting.
Definitely
got it. That felt like the right answer, yeah.
You ask for faster decision-making. The response is A, agreement. You're right, Rob. B, a revised timeline. C, a reminder about shared governance. Or D, a thoughtful pause.
I'm still new, so I get a lot more of D, but 3 is the right answer.
Absolutely.
I don't think the pause is thoughtful. I think that's a trick question.
If something isn't working, we should stop doing it. Is this statement true or false?
For me, I say it all the time. It's so true to me. Yeah.
Well, you got that one wrong.
Okay.
It's false.
I had a hunch that was wrong.
3 out of 4.
Yeah. Right. Oh god.
Okay. So, last question. In the private sector, discounting signaled A, weakness, B, strategy, C, inventory pressure, or D, a tactical lever.
It's somewhere between C and D. I'm going to go with tactical lever.
Yep, you got that one right.
Okay.
I mean, this is AI, so it doesn't,
Yeah, okay. Got it.
Sorry, Dean Chat.
Dean Chat.
VP Chat.
Yep.
In your new role, discount is A, access, B, mission aligned, C, necessary, or D, all of the above.
Yeah, it's all the above.
Bonus question.
Yep.
Because you got one wrong. Brand alone.
You really undersold this in the beginning.
Brand alone can fix enrollment challenges. True or false?
False.
That is the one thing every consultant who's come to the college agrees to. That you can't brand your way out of things.
I mean, again, I shouldn't ask a fun question, or I shouldn't answer a fun question with this monster that is in our category. It does not care.
Yeah.
Right. It does not care.
Yeah.
Middlebury is one of the best liberal arts colleges in the country with an amazing location and staff and facilities and students and everything. Their publicly stated deficit last year was $14 million.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the actual correct answer, just for Ian, is that because I've talked to lots of faculty, is that we just need to teach really hard. And then it solves everything. That's right. Right. I think that's right, Ian.
I will say this: without it, we're in trouble. So I agree with that. Without it, we're in trouble.
No, it's all we need. It's all we need. It's.
I don't know about the all we need, but we definitely need it. I don't know if it's everything, but we definitely need it.
Yeah, and by teaching hard, it means more.
Right.
It means more.
Yeah. So, where are we moving now?
Great job. You passed the quiz.
You did. Oh, sorry. Yes.
I was when I sat down. I was a little nervous.
Well done.
Yeah. I mean, everybody is, but we have such disarming personalities that usually.
Right. Exactly.
VP Dean chat is intimidating.
Very well. It's
the mahogany in the office.
Yeah, it's that, and things that come out of the academic division can be that way.
Yeah. No. Exactly.
So.
The crest on the back of the wooden chair.
That's right. That's right. Okay. Our next section is what's your style?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good Lord. Well, if Ann Ehrlich were on this, she would say, you confuse me with your style, because it's a lot of like all black agency, loafery stuff, and then every now and then it's sort of like a little finance bro-y, QZ.
Yeah, well, you're nice loafers. I've noticed that.
I do. Look,
you like a loafer.
I like a loafer, and I like a loafer that is. I have a expensive loafer problem. We won't do brand names, but I have an expensive loafer problem. I've been told 3 times just today that I'll be running around on Saturday and that I need to wear comfortable shoes. And my reaction each time has been, I do not pitch in comfortable shoes. So that
got a lot of respect for that.
I was going to say,
and they'll be like, "You're going to regret it." I'm like, "I don't give a shit how much I regret it. My feet could fall off, but I ain't wearing comfortable shoes."
And also, I'm not going to regret it. Like that's the thing.
No, you're not going to regret it at all.
There's just no way. Look, I mean, that is not happening. If you think I'm wearing like Jordans to Get Acquainted Day, you're out of your mind. It's just not happening. Again, that is a dating thing. Like men of a certain age, Jordans would be perfectly acceptable in their mindset, and I'm definitely I'm a solid maybe decade past that.
When it's fun, and if you spend money on a nice pair of loafers, they're going to be a comfortable pair of loafers. So
look, by the time you wear them as much as I have, you'll be fine. And then look, I'll worry about it Sunday.
Absolutely.
So I won't. I won't name names, but I did say to somebody in the upper administration on campus, I walked into a meeting and the person said to me, "Ian, you're always so dressed up." And I said, "Oh, you're wearing your standard issue executive suite quarter zip."
I am definitely vulnerable to a QZ. Yeah. The problem is, A, they're easy to wear, and B, I don't even know how, like, there's a dedicated,
300.
Yeah, easily. There's just a gajillion of them. And they're all some shade of, gray, black, or blue.
Right.
I guess I have a couple orange ones for obvious reasons.
Do you have you had to shift your wardrobe since moving to academia?
The first week I had this pretense that I was gonna. I was never gonna do. This is never gonna be a tie job for me, and because I haven't had a tie job in 30 years, and I was not interested in starting that. And there are definitely times where Bob would prefer that I have a tie on, but I think he's begrudgingly accepted that I am not going to wear a tie often. There are a few events, but not many. Like GAD, I'm not wearing a tie to GAD. Right? I'm wearing a lovely Oxford, but it won't have a tie. So from the jump, I was like, I did this tie thing, you know, and there are a number of enrollment people, some of whom are dear friends of mine, Kent Barnes, hello, who are deep believers in the bow tie angle of the enrollment, right? Yeah. And he pulls it off, and it's like his brand. That is not going to happen for me either. Yeah. So I definitely early on was like, I'm just going to bring a little bit of a bunch of all black and the occasional QZ and some blazers here and there and see how it goes. But black loafers almost all the time. Yeah. That is the one constant is going to be black loafers.
I like this. This is good. This sounds like a great strategy. Actually.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't know that everybody thinks it works, but I don't see it changing. I don't know the tie thing. I just can't. I can't get back to the tie thing.
Well, and there's really no rules in academia.
Exactly.
So, especially for faculty.
Absolutely.
There are definitely rules.
Yeah, because you have a perception.
Look, if Mary were here, she'd tell you there are rules, and I'm breaking them every day. Just about what I wear. Forget the other rules that I break. But she would definitely be like, "Oh, you're breaking the rules."
I also appreciate the fact that you're not going to casually go into a bow tie. I feel like a bow tie is such a deep commitment.
It's
personality-wise. Yeah. I was going to say, you have to be fully committed to bow tie.
Well, and
Luke's a bow tie guy.
Yeah.
Look, Kent pulls it off, and he looks awesome, and he's got 12 gajillion of them, and so he can, spend his entire cup of coffee picking what he wants to do. It's just not gonna. When you're already short and bald and of a certain age, the whole bow tie, it almost feels like you're, trying to be a caricature.
Yeah, it becomes caricature.
Again, he's been doing it really well, and he pulls it off, and it's a tribute to Dell, I think, who was his uncle, who was the head of enrollment here or admissions here forever and ever. For me, it would seem like I'm trying to play a part, and that would not work.
Yeah, I feel the short thing when I. Especially when you mentioned Jordans, like when I kept getting cut from the junior high school basketball team, I had a pair of high tops.
Yeah.
And one day I looked at myself in the mirror and I'm like, this is not helping the short thing.
No, emphasize shortening the length of the legs.
The length of the legs does not help.
Yeah. Get something right, mid calf.
Yeah. And so when he brought up the Jordans, I was like,
yeah.
No.
Well, you guys always look so sharp. I will say this. I couldn't pull off what you do because I think if I walked in the office like that, my entire office would be like, you're not teaching, Chaucer today. But you guys always look really good.
We have committed to becoming caricatures.
Yeah, we have 100%. 100%.
But it worked. Trust me, if I somehow in an alternate life had, followed in the footsteps of, Ted Baskerville, who was a famous chair here, who was, Baskerville is the last name for the chair of the English department. It's just central casting, right? If I had followed in those footsteps, I absolutely would have found some way to wear a cloak or something. For sure. I might have even carried like a torch across campus. Something.
Baskerville was a legend.
Oh, Ted Baskerville. So when I was here, God, he probably had already been here 25, 30 years. Yeah. I had been here a long time. And his wife taught here as well. She taught the classics. And I took both of them. I think I wound up taking her a couple times. I definitely had him for his Chaucer class, which, oof. Chaucer in the original Old English at senior year, second semester from, Tuesday, Thursday afternoon from, let's call it, 2:30 to 4:05 or something horrendous like that, while I could hear my fraternity brothers on the sun deck back at the house.
That's rough.
It was not. It was not what I had in mind. It was not what I had in mind.
I mean, Chaucer would have been at the fraternity.
Oh, yeah, 100%. That was kind of my whole thing. Like literally what we're talking about. They're right down there. The people are down there.
All right. Well, I think our guest has done enough work.
I think so. We've earned it.
All right. Let's take a break, and we'll come back and take our rewards.
Perfect.
Welcome back to the Ivory Attic. I'm Ian Escherwood.
No, I'm not saying who I am. Apparently,
we're here with Robert Schwartz from Gettysburg College. No, we're not saying it anymore because we don't have to.
Absolutely. Where are we?
We are at your house.
Even better. Which part of it?
Oh, Kurt's cocktail corner.
Thank you. All right.
How many times have you guys done this?
I was going to say fourth season, guys. Fourth season.
We're down our
running smooth.
It's hot outside. It's
playing the role of Ian Isherwood.
Well, luckily we have a cocktail in front of us. Rob, why don't you explain what inspired this cocktail?
Sure.
The cocktail is called Glory, Glory.
Glory, Glory, Man United. So I'm a huge Manchester United fan.
They're doing well so far.
I tell you what.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
they,
sorry. Yeah.
Yes, they've hung in there. We've done better since we got rid of a man so uniquely committed to a formation unsuited to the talent he had. So that's been good. Yeah. So when you said, what's the thing you love? And I said Manchester United, and you wisely, Kurt, were like, Glory, Glory is the name of this cocktail.
Yeah, I thought this would be good. And so let's go ahead and take a sip and see if it captures some of the magic that you feel.
I just want to say before I do this, these cubes are magnificent.
Oh, thank you. They are quite beautiful, aren't they, Ian?
Yeah, you tipped them off, right? You paid them off for that.
Did you notice how you can see right through that? It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. All right.
Chin chin. Ooh, that is so. Can we? Do I have to guess what's in here?
You can absolutely.
That's complicated.
That is complicated.
You could start out really easy.
Yeah.
With the like visual cues.
Well, right. So we've got a lemon peel in here, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Good start.
We've got a couple berries in the bottom. I'm going to call raspberries. I think.
You're right.
Okay.
Are they flattened?
They're just sort of submerged.
They have been a little flattened. They've been.
It's like the Bonanno family in Jersey City. They're at the
They've been muddled, is what we call them.
Underneath the ice.
Oh, muddled. Yeah,
exactly.
Sure.
But flattened is fine as well.
Well, I thought you were trying to make like a little jersey.
Well, if you notice the colors.
I missed that entirely. I love that.
Yeah. So because I really. Listen, I especially want. So here's the thing. I was trying. Oh, you were going to guess. You have any thoughts
on what the core alcohol in here? So I have to say, I thought I was going to get a bit more sweetness off the jump, but it's actually got a little more.
Yeah, it's more in an old fashioned style. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I don't. Is this bourbon or scotch? I'm having a little trouble identifying.
So it's actually gin. It's actually just some nice gin. It's a gin old fashioned, which is not a really common thing to do with an old fashioned.
Got it. So that helps me. I was wondering whether we had put so much citrus in the bourbon that we were kind of changing it, but now I get the gin. Yeah. Okay.
No, this is a nice special gin that actually recent visitors from Oxford brought me. It's a Surrey-based gin.
Oh wow. Okay.
Can we? So I'll tell you what else is. So what part? So we went with gin because, of course, England. All right, this is where you're going to start.
The bulldog. Yes.
The other thing that we added was a little bit of allspice liqueur. Manchester is well known for being kind of a very
gritty industrial town.
Exactly, gritty industrial, but with lots of different cultures and combinations. Yes. So I thought we'd capture that with allspice liqueur and also a dash of masala bitters.
Oh, nice.
But the other weird thing that I found out is that apparently it is also known for creating a drink called Vimto. Have you ever had Vimto,
No.
Ian? Which is apparently a berry-flavored soft drink that is made in Manchester, which is why I did berries. With and, Vimto. Of course, it made it...
Well, and you got the red.
It made it red and yellow.
Yeah. I love that.
Because, listen, there are two things that we had to do with this cocktail. One is to represent Manchester, and secondly, represent the correct Manchester.
Yeah, well,
and not the other ones.
Again, we can talk about the other ones. 115 violations of financial fair play.
There goes our whole Man City fan base. Is gone.
Of the 80, how many are City fans? Like 78? Okay.
All right, but
you guys are cheaters. You should be relegated and have to give up the titles.
Actually, that would make my son happy as well because he's a Tottenham fan, it would be really nice if someone else.
He's not
it'd be really nice if someone else got relegated instead.
Yeah, that would save them. The great irony here is it would save Spurs. Yeah.
All right. Well, but so excellent. So Rob, though, because you are the highest level academic we've had here, you get 2 cocktails. And I made a second one that's special just for you.
All right.
1 second while I get.
Good for Kurt.
This is remarkable. Oh, look at that! It's a jalapeno on the ice cube.
Yeah. So
Now let me. Okay.
Yeah. So this is.
All right.
Let's take a photo of that one.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Right.
Definitely. Here, let me get that out of the way. That's beautiful.
Oh, that's in our branded glass.
It is in our new branded glass. So this is. Can you figure out what the theme of this one is, Ian?
Let's see. Spicy.
Rob, this is the slow melt.
I tell you what, from your lips to God's ears. From your lips to God's ears.
For those of you who are in academia, the melt is when we actually, after you, this happens to everyone, after you get a bunch of students to actually agree to come to your college.
Yep.
Some of them change their mind over the summer.
That's correct.
And then they leave.
That's correct.
And it's the saddest part of, I assume, your job.
Yeah, no, you spend all the time and energy to get to May 1st, and you get a number, and then you instantly stick it in a spreadsheet and remove X percent because they aren't all going to make it.
So what this is this actually a really nice drink. So it's a couple ounces of cognac, some apricot liqueur that I really love, and a couple of dashes of walnut bitters. All really nice. Some of my nicest liquor. Really high-end cocktail, and then the sword of Damocles, the jalapeno of Damocles
I see that.
on top of the ice cube, the jalapeno on top of the ice cube. So you need to make sure you get through the nice part before the melt happens.
Got it. I am a Fiji. I know how to get to the bottom of a glass quickly. All righty, let's see if we can do this. Ooh. So I have to say, of the two,
Yeah.
I'm definitely ranking this one over this one. I like this one.
Oh no, that one's definitely better. That's because I give you the good stuff. Again, you're the VP. Ian doesn't get this stuff.
And the other thing, you
I don't give him that nice. I don't give him that nice liquor.
And I will say this: I'm a huge walnut bitters fan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So my old fashions are always made with walnut bitters.
They're nice. Right?
Always.
Nice.
Especially in the winter, that walnut. Kind of. If you do a little cocoa, a little walnut, right around Christmas time, and you have a nice. I like to use full proof bourbon in my old fashions. Let that melt over the cube. Good grief!
Yeah.
Sign me up.
Sounds perfect.
Yeah, my cardiologist does not like bourbon, so I've been on a little bit of a bourbon hiatus. But for those of you, it is. We talked about the difference between 47 and 55. That's one of them.
We'll be sure to make up for it now, I guess.
So, gather ye rosebuds as ye may. I miss it.
On that note, Ian, I think we've done it once again.
Thank you very, very much for being on.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much.
Oh, this has been honestly, and I so enjoyable, and thank you so much for having me. I'm thrilled to do it.
Oh, thank you. Well, so Ian, let's talk about some of the new stuff that we got going on.
Yeah, so we have a new merch shop that's opened up.
We do, right?
And so what are we selling in our merch shop?
We are selling...
and we're debuting it for the 4th season.
We are debuting it for the 4th season. We did a soft open. So, we start out with some nice, of course, rocks glasses that we have that say... taste like better times and have your image on it.
Oh, it's amazing. Thanks, Kurt.
Sure thing. And we also have some stickers if you'd like a Ivory Attic sticker. We also have Ivory Attic mugs. So go check it out. And if there's something you think that we should have, just contact us and we'll see if we can make it happen.
You can contact us through the website or through social media. And thank you as we've rummaged through the Ivory Attic. I'm Ian Isherwood.
I'm not ready to say.
All right, fine.
So we also have a YouTube channel.
Oh, we do. Yeah, we have a YouTube channel.
Check out our YouTube channel.
Yeah. So the lawnmower's going behind me.
I see. That's why you're trying to. Okay.
Yeah, we got to rush through
we'll
this,
wrap it up.
okay?
All right. Okay.
All right.
Say it again now.
Thank you for joining us as we rummage through the ivory attic.
And you are?
Ian Isherwood.
And I'm Kurt Andreessen.